Hey guys, so this is Earthling 6455463728 and not 29 or not 27. So a while ago, I did a piece. I talked about if being rich might be a mental illness, um, which I think that it is. I think it's one of those illnesses that it's never going to be classified as a mental illness. The desire, the never ending desire to just keep getting richer and richer and growing and growing. I don't think that makes any sense. It's like, let's say there are 400 people on planet Earth, and you have a company and it works and it's doing well. If it's only 400 people, what are you going to do when all 400 people like your product and they're eating it at a healthy amount? How are you going to grow? You can't grow. But companies don't really care about that. KFC, or with respect to their business, people always want to see growth. What are you going to do? Are you going to, just tell people to buy KFC even though they don't want it, even though they shouldn't be eating it? They're obese and anyway, so I think that, and I guess it's not something that is just happened recently. We no longer have predators. We haven't had predators for a while. Probably for a really long time. I mean, yes, other animals eat us from time to time. A shark might mistakenly bite someone. A mountain lion might attack somebody. Stuff like that. But by and large, we are the predators now. We are our own predators. And we see it explicitly when it comes to serial killers. They want to kill human beings, and they go out and they do that. And for a lot of them, they are successful. Well, they are the ones that we know. They're the ones that we point to and we say, oh, this person's been killing people for a long time, and they have a means and a method, and they go about doing it. There's no real reason for them to be predators of human beings. Just, it's not like they need to eat us, so they need a particular mineral or a vitamin that only humans provide. They just do it because they want to. They've fallen. That's their habit, a habit that they've cultivated, that they've gotten to, and that's something that's, you know, isn't that crazy? We know there are serial killers, but we don't identify them. And I'm not saying like to kill serial killers. I'm saying we know that they're psychopaths and we know that they're serial killers, but we have no system in place to identify these people as they're growing up and perhaps push them in a different direction. To me, that's just unbelievable. That's retarded. I don't know. Yeah, you're not supposed to say retarded anymore. That's mentally challenged. I don't know. But at any rate, I think companies are predators. They prey on society. Maybe they didn't start out that way. Maybe in the beginning they were providing a useful service. But once you get big enough, there probably isn't too much difference between a tobacco company that's clearly selling something that is poisonous and detrimental to people and KFC. Or who else? Anybody else who provides any kind of food, really. Because in desiring and not identifying, listen, this is as far as we can go. All right? If everybody on the planet ate our product, this is as far, this is as much as we can go, and let's stop when we hit a particular point. If there's just that desire for growth, indefinite, really they don't care about anybody any more than if they were a tobacco company who doesn't care that people are dying from their product. Millions of people. Because when you push food and you try to make it addictive, it's not the same thing. tobacco companies, they know that their product is addictive. They know it's harmful to people's health. But they exist. And they have workers and they have companies and they have all of these people who just don't care. And it's the same thing for, sorry to say, any food company that wants to just keep increasing their sales. Anybody actually, even, well, to a lesser degree, people that make things like cars. Maybe they might, car companies, but not even car companies. I mean, a car company might know to itself, listen, cars are not really great for society. People should probably be pooling. And that's something that car companies did. They pushed to criminalize the view of walking in roads. Pedestrians, at least where I am, pedestrians are supposed to have the right of way. But in a lot of places, if you're not walking with the light or whatever it is, then you're the criminal. And if you got run over, oh well. And, these car companies will do things that are only of interest to themselves. It's global, because of global warming. Maybe we shouldn't all be driving alone in the backseat of a car. Maybe everybody shouldn't have a car. But they don't care. It's just we need to exist and we need to grow. So, and the problem, I think, is that we don't have an understanding. We do, well, some people might have an understanding that this is not a good thing to have these predatory companies. Predatory from the point of view that I think it's along the lines of tragedy of the commons. Where there's this area where everybody can put their cows to graze, and or there's this animal that is out there and wild and anybody can hunt it, like whales. And rather than coming together, and that's another video I'd have to write about. But rather than everybody organizing and saying, hey, this is the maximum amount that we can have, let's make sure that we stay within this limit, everybody just looks out for themselves and says, okay, how can we get the most out of society without having to put any in? How can we reduce our taxes so we don't have to put anything, we don't have to pay into society? And then at the same time, how can we get this corporate welfare where we get as much from society? We ask the governing bodies to pay for a stadium. And then after they've paid for the stadium, we need to get all of the revenue from that. Otherwise, we're going to go somewhere else. It's like we don't want to pay taxes, but then we want the government or these governing bodies, wherever they are, to provide this and provide that and provide the other, because we're going to bring jobs. And then we don't actually even bring the jobs. So everybody's trying to take out and nobody wants to put in. That can't help society at the end of the day. It can't work indefinitely. And the problem is society itself is the commons. Everybody wants to get as much as they can out of society and try to make sure that they put the least possible or nothing in. The only thing that can stop that, because the thing is that these companies can lobby governments to do what they want. And the more powerful and the bigger they are, the more likely they can get what they want. And they each pull out what they do for society and hope to get tax benefits or tax funded benefits for themselves. But at the same time, they don't want to pay their workers enough. So these workers can't provide taxes that the company, now wants to get tax benefits from. So they are, to a degree, controlling the brain that says, let us do what we want. And there's nobody to fight them, really, to say, I will stand up against these people. There's nobody really to do it, because it doesn't make anybody money to do that. So at the end of the day, though, I think that the only forces that will stand up to these companies is another company that wants the opposite of that first company. So let's say, for example, I am a soda company and I'm selling soda or soft drinks or whatever. Then if there's another company that is selling water, then that company can combat the other company. Unfortunately, with respect to like Coca-Cola, for example, I think Coca-Cola, it has its feet in Dasani and it has its feet in Coca-Cola. So I guess they're trying to make money on both ends. But there are companies that are not affiliated, or they're not in control of the other side. And I think that those are the only forces that can create an equilibrium. And I think that there's no way to, for smaller people who aren't making money off of a particular thing, to really stand up to these large companies and say, well, hey, get rid of smoking. No, you need somebody else who's competing with smoking. Like, I don't want to say vapors, because they're not really, vaping isn't really competing. But somebody else who is not the complement, but the opposite of the complement of that particular industry. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end up, but I think somebody should model it and maybe do a study. And I think they should do it. I hate when people think that somebody else should do something. I think if you feel that something should be done, or maybe, I don't know. I guess that's what I'm doing. But I dislike it. And but anyway, it is what it is. It's just something that I wanted to talk about. That companies are the new predators, and they prey on us as consumers, and we go to work for them, and they prey on us as employees because they don't really want to give out too much, money or benefits or whatever, and they prey on society. And the only thing big enough is something else, another company that's rich and powerful enough to try to combat them. And if not, then we're just at their whim. I don't know where it's going to end up. But I mean, in terms of being like a cancerous growth, they will just get big enough to suck society to death, like some kind of huge parasite or something. Anyway, I don't want this to end up sounding like some other video or audio that I did. So anyway, guys, wish me lucks. Like or unlike, comment, share, and subscribe, and or subscribe. Peace.